Okay, so a couple of announcements. One, it is really hot today in the US, so we're going to try to do a bunch of cooling, softening postures. One thing that I do need you to have is a towel. If you have like a yoga blanket, it'll totally work, it'll be fine. If you have an extra yoga mat that you would roll up and use, that'll be good too. But I have like just my towel, it's folded halfway over this way, and I've got it rolled up. We're gonna use that. And then if you like to have a block or something around to go into triangle and then half moon, just go ahead and put that up at whatever the front of your mat space is, and then you'll have that there when you need it. My last announcement, I think, is we are gonna still have practice next Sunday. So today is the 20th. We're going to have practice on the 27th, but we're not going to do practice on the 4th. So Australians, that's the 5th. US folks on the 4th. It's a holiday here. I'm not going to be in town that weekend. I think a lot of you probably will be doing other stuff, so we'll pause it that week. Back to today though. We're gonna just kind of move all the way through kind of every sort of angle. I want to go nice and slow, keep things nice and easy in the body since it's so hot right now. And I've been chatting with a couple of folks about like the way that the dharmas have been going lately, like talking about like working with stuff that's really nitty gritty and just kind of finding some connections, some similarities, I think, in like our own lives and like what these conversations have been getting into. And I gotta be really honest, I've had like a really hard last 2 weeks, and I keep feeling like I'm totally fucking up in a lot of ways. And I've had some friends say like, yeah, like I really feel like I've just been fucking up a lot lately. And it happens, right? Like we can't get everything perfect. We do the best we can. Apologize, communicate, set intentions to do better and to learn from these experiences, but like it's just not reasonable to expect everything to go smoothly and perfectly all the time, even if we have like the best intentions of that stuff. If we're just not going to be immaculate in going forward in the world. And that's part of it. That's part of just being honest with ourselves about our fallible human nature. And you can think of like, you know, if you want to go out and get into this new skill set, like you're gonna fail a couple of times at this new skill. Like, you know, yoga poses aren't gonna go perfectly every time. Like I just picked up a hula hoop for the first time in about 2 years and I dropped the thing more than I could keep a hold of it. We're going to fail. We're going to do poorly sometimes. But the more that we commit in an open-hearted, honest way to learning from those times when we fail and being able to do better, that's where the beauty is in the practice. We have all of these things that in yoga, especially getting really deep into the philosophy, is that we're moving towards a place of getting beyond all of the suffering and failure and fucking up of being human, but we're not there, right? Like maybe you are, I don't know, you could be just like enlightened and hanging out for the music or whatever, but like I'm not there, I'm still here. I think most of us are gonna be here for a really, really, really long time, if not the rest of this life and a couple of other ones beyond. But it's how to work with this, how to work with that place in which we just might not be doing so hot every time. But I'm sure you're all doing great, and thanks for hanging out with me here through this. We're gonna move through this practice just trying to hang out with the breath and the body. It's good to just be here now with whatever it is. We'll start with face brushing. Take your index finger and thumb together, and the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumb, bring that to the center of your forehead, brush outwards towards your temples. And from the sides of your nose out to your temples along your cheekbones. your temples down to your chin along the jawline. The sides of the nose down to the chin along your laugh lines. Massaging underneath and behind your ears. Lifting up from that bony spot behind your ears. Keeping that lift as you rest your hands down into your lap. I was just talking about it, you know, this afternoon for me, it's morning for some of you, and even in the morning, even fresh into the day, like it can be really useful to just kind of like brush things off, to create a clean slate. And even if things are going really, 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 really well, we have to be able to brush that off and have a clean slate, because we can't cling to, we can't get super attached to things, because the one thing we know for certain is that it will change. It will not be exactly like this forever. Already been building up some deeper breath. Coming to this practice without attachment to what we think it should be or whatever else has been going on in the day, just being ready to be here. Start with 3 ohms. Of course, always having the opportunity to death metal growl, scream into the void, just give an exhale, whatever resonates with you. Let's start with a big breath in through the nose. Big exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. Three ohms. Start practice in child's pose. Your towel, your rolled up blanket, mat, whatever. Go ahead and set that to your side. Sometimes it actually feels pretty good to go ahead and put that in between your thighs and your calves if you have a hard time resting your hips back. So you can grab that, you can use that if it feels good to you, or just come on down on your own. Walk your fingertips out, extending a little bit more through the arms. Wiggle your pelvis side to side, loosening up around the hips. And then when you start to feel like you've got a little bit more space and you've been wiggling enough, start to settle in. Let your forehead drop down towards the mat. Your inner shoulders feel a little bit cranky. Go ahead and widen your arms. Notice anywhere where the tension might have creeped back into your body and give it permission to let go. Another big breath in, feel the back of your rib cage opening up. And exhale, release. Feel that softening. One more time, filling up. Softening as you exhale. And take your hands over towards the right edge of your mat or your space, and you're going to press down a little bit more in your left hand and curl your left hip backwards a little bit more. Getting some nice long space along the side of your torso, the side of your armpit. One more big breath in. Let it go as you exhale. Start bringing your hands over towards the other side of your space, pushing down a little bit more in your right hip and or your right hand and curling your right hip down. Resting your head. One more breath out. And then come back to the center, walk your fingertips out a little bit longer again. And you're gonna draw your belly upwards towards your spine as you curl your tailbone down towards the floor just a little bit more active in that low belly. You might even come up onto your fingertips, that your wrists lift up and off of the ground so you get a little bit more space along the back and the backs of those shoulders. Give yourself one more big breath in and big breath out. And start to walk your hands back in towards your body. You're going to bring your knees closer towards each other. We're going to curl the toes underneath, coming into broken toe pose. And you can go as intense as you want with this. First variation is going to be coming here. Second variation is to bring your hands up onto your thighs. And to get a little bit spicier, you're going to interlace the fingers and press the palms upwards towards the ceiling. Let's take 3 deep breaths like this. Inhale, push those hands up. Exhale, feel your hips settling down. Inhale, press the hands up, press the backs of your ears up. Exhale, draw the belly back. One more time, big breath in. Big breath out. Release your hands if you have them up. You're gonna untuck your toes and then give a little drum roll to the tops of your feet. Go and grab whatever you had that was rolled up, so either a towel or a yoga blanket, or if you have an extra yoga mat rolled up, give it an extra little tightening here. I want this to get into this tubing nice and tight. And then you're gonna come back and you're gonna bring that little tube right into the crease of your knees. And then you're gonna start sitting back in some calf smooshing. You really wanna get it up as close into the inner crease of your knees as you can. You can leave your fingertips down or bring them back onto your thighs. Ooh. And if you do a little, oh man, a little shifting of the hips side to side, and massaging those calf muscles. It has been now like well over a year since I have been practicing with folks having yoga blankets around. I haven't done this since then. I was just thinking, man, what are some of these things that we haven't been doing in this different environment that I don't even know if this feels different anymore. This is just what it is. Okay, got a couple more stops to make with this blanket. You're gonna move it back so that it comes right onto the middle of the meaty part of your calves. It's only gonna go down like 2 or 3 inches. Oh my goodness. Oh, so if you need to not put as much pressure, you'll bring your hands down. But if you can come to sitting up, do, man. Kind of like these lower points, they also massage your hamstrings. A little pressure to release that space. And then last stop, you're gonna go down right to the bottom of the meaty part of your calf, and that might only be like another inch or 2 down. So it's a little bit on some of your Achilles space, but try not to do a lot of Achilles, like tendon space. You wanna get it really up towards the meaty muscle part. Oh my goodness. And then if instead of like lifting forward here, if you can relax down and back, oh yeah, like right up here in the hammies, get that pressure as well. Oh goodness. And give yourself one more exhale. And then go ahead and come off of the calf smooshing. And since you have this around, we're gonna be on our knees a little bit. If you're feeling like your knees need a little extra cushion, there you go. You can just go ahead and put that underneath your knees. Hate it, don't worry about it. I'm going to set that on the side. Now thread the needle. You're going to take your right arm underneath, rest on the outside of your shoulder, and then if you can, come onto your left fingertips here. So the elbow is up. And then your armpit, can you draw your armpit away from the floor? So pulling it back. Relax your thigh bones inside of your hips up. It's one more breath in. more breath out. And drop that left palm down, unwind your right side, and slide the left arm underneath. Spreading the needle and then coming up onto your right fingertips. Start to pull your armpit back. So rolling open in the shoulder and opening that armpit space up. One more round of breath. Starting to unwind yourself, coming back to your hands and knees. And then you're going to take your right leg out to the right side, right out from your hips. I'm going to turn side face you here. So have your right leg out. And then you're going to walk your hands out. Stay up on your widespread fingertips. See if you can melt your heart down. If your forehead reaches the floor, go ahead and settle it down. Your tailbone rolls up a little bit more. One more exhale. And start to walk your hands back in. And then you're going to walk your hands over towards the left. So you're going to go away from the right leg and then reach your right arm up. So have your body up and open towards that side. Reach the arm up and over your nose at your ear. You can even think of the backs of your ears lengthening out away from your shoulders a bit more. It's gracious. One more breath in. Stay there, breathe out. Draw your belly in, come on up. Shoulders above your hips. Leave your right hand at your hip, reach your left arm up. So not going into a side bend so much as lengthening out through this left side. Big exhale. Back to center. Go ahead and bring your hands down and draw your right knee. So we'll go left leg out to the side so it roughly lines up with your hips. You're going to leave your hips above your knees. Crawl your hands as far forward as you can. Rest the forehead down if it'll go there. Let your heart melt down and your tailbone roll upwards. One more exhale. Start to walk your hands back in. I'm going to bring your right hand out to the right. Take your left arm up so that you're open. And then you're going to reach that left arm up and over your nose, stretching out to the side of your torso. Lengthen your ears out of your shoulders. As my hips are still up above my bottom knee. One more exhale. Draw your belly in. Come on up so your heart is above your hips. And then reach up long through that right arm. And getting longer through the right side. Breath in. Big breath out. Back to the center. Go ahead and bring your hands down. Tuck the left leg in and then walk your knees back a little bit. Bring your heart above your thumbs. You're a little bit longer in the body, and then see how slowly you can lower down onto your belly, keeping your heart open. And then once you get down there, wiggle your legs back a little bit more. Make a pillow for your head with your hands. Rest your forehead. And even wiggle your pelvis a little bit side to side. If you need to rest your cheek or your temple, you can. But if you can rest your forehead, just to stay balanced here, this is a really good space to come to when you're feeling a little bit too short. It's like your brain won't turn off when you're trying to go to sleep, or when your body is feeling very warm, just feeling disoriented. This can be a very, very grounding, cooling position for the body. More exhale. So to pick your head up, you're going to draw your elbows in so they come underneath your shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. Spread your fingertips out, spread your collarbones out, and let your head start to float up a little bit longer. So what we're going to try to do is to just magically sneak back from Sphinx into Cobra pose. And a couple of quick tips to be able to do this. I like to push down into the tops of the feet to get a little bit stronger in the lower body. And then also to let the ego go, because it might feel a little bit awkward and your heart might drop down, but that's just what happens, just for fun. Let's try to keep the heart up, and then you're gonna just sneak the hands right back under your shoulders. Go for it. Whoop. And then soften down. And come up on your elbows again. Let's just try one more time. Take a big breath in. Scooch back. And soften it down. And then you're gonna push yourself back up onto your knees. Now, if you had, anything you want to put back underneath your knees, go for that. Let's get on one more on the knees pose. You're gonna bring your right foot up on the outside of your right hand, and then you're gonna start to extend the body forward. So you keep going into this kind of like puppy dog pose place in the upper body. You're really extending the torso out and forward, and just draping yourself downwards towards the floor. Start pushing down in your right foot a little bit more. Maybe you feel your right hip start to tuck back. Big breath in. Big breath out. And bring your hands back in on the inside of your right leg. You're going to take your left foot and you're going to step it up outside of your left hand. Go ahead and bring it up here and come into a squat. You might stay here in your squat, or you might drop your hips down into your squat. See if you can bring your hands to your heart. Bring the weight into the pinky toe edges of your feet. See if your ears, if the backs of your ears can float up and away from your shoulders a bit more. More exhale. And bring your hands down. You're going to lift your hips, step your left leg back, lower your knee down. Wiggle your right leg in a little bit more, and then reach your arms up. The hips are in front of the back knee, front foot pushes down, heart reaches up towards the fingertips. Big breath in. And then go ahead and float the hands down and slide your right leg back. And then bring your left foot forward outside of your left hand. Start walking those hands forward, extending your spine out, relaxing in your neck. And start pushing down a little bit more in your left foot so that hip tucks back. One more exhale. So to bring your hands back in on the inside of your left leg, we're going to take the right foot and you're going to step it up outside of your right hand, and your hips might go lower this time, or they might not have gone lower. They might stay up in line with your knees. You're going to release your hips down and back away from your rib cage. I like to think of the upper butt dropping downwards, really lengthening these knees, lower back. One more exhale. Bring your hands down. You're going to take the hips up so that you can step your right leg back. Lower your knee, wiggle the left foot in, and then reach your arms up. Let your hips rest forward a bit, but push the front foot down and feel your heart stretching up. Maybe even reaching the backs of your ears, out of your shoulders against your long, all the way through the spine, right up to the crown of the head. Big inhale. And then go ahead and bring your hands down, slide that left leg back. Leave your hips above your knees, walk your hands forward, puppy dog pose. Push down into your hands, feel the spine lengthening, the outer shoulders warming up. Stay long through the spine, strong all the way through the arms. And then more breath out. Start to walk your hands back in a little bit so you lift yourself up, and then we'll go from puppy dog into downward facing dog. Push from the heart into the hands. Curl the toes, lift your hips. Walk through the heels a few times. Maybe there's still some space to open up in the backs of the calves, backs of the legs. One more exhale. And then coming to a squat again, stepping the feet outside of your hands, drop your hips down, maybe hands come to the heart. Now I have an offering for you, and it is just an offering, so if you know that your knees or your hips or your body or your energy level are just not feeling it, you're not going to come straight from a squat to standing. But if you're feeling a little crispy, you feel pretty good about it in your body, I want to feel the feet pressing down, draw your belly in, come all the way from the squat to standing. And then rest your hands down and wiggle your feet in right about underneath your hips. You've got just a little bit of space there. And then reach your arms up, hold on to your right wrist. You're going to come to a side bend up and over towards your left. Fronts of your hips lift, push down more into your right foot. Exhale. Inhale up through the center, hold your left wrist. You come up and over towards the right. We're pushing down more into the left foot right now. Continuing to lift up through the fronts of the hips. One more breath out. Back to the center. Go ahead and relax your arms. So I mentioned a little earlier, if you happen to have a block or something that you find useful in half moon or triangle pose, go ahead and bring that out to the front of your mat space so that you can find it when we get there. We're going to have a longish standing series. You're going to start with your right foot forward, step your left foot back and come into this lunge. You can be up on the back toes and have a little bit more room to lengthen the spine. Interlace your fingers, press the palms up, and push down the front foot, press back through the left heel. So if you can push from your heart right up through those hands just a little bit more. Big breath in. Exhale, float down into warrior two. Do that transition one more time. You're going to come back to the lunge, facing over towards the right foot. Just feel your arms reaching up, get a little bit longer, a little bit taller. Exhale, float it down into warrior two. That back heel tucks down. Then keep the bend in your front knee, lift your heart up towards your hand, peaceful warrior. Check that that hip is pulling towards the left foot. A little bit longer. Exhale, reaching forward, elbow onto your knee, taking the left arm up and over your nose. Push more into that left foot, get a little bit more spacious in the body. Tuck the right hip towards the left foot. Big exhale. You're going to lift yourself up, straighten the front leg, lift the heart upwards, peaceful triangle. Balance the weight in your feet, push both feet downwards. More inhale. Start to shift your hips back as you reach forward and come into triangle pose. When you get your left hand up, I want you to feel like you've got somebody else pushing into your hand. So can you push into that hand without moving it, rolling the shoulder back. Feel the ears reach out of your shoulders, your tailbone reach backwards away from your ears. So that kind of action kind of strengthens this top arm so it's not just a limb floating on in space, and it helps so that we don't have the shoulder dropping down, we have it opening up towards the hips. You might have already grabbed a block and placed it here underneath your right hand. Try to look forward. Probably have a block out in front of you, or you just know you can comfortably reach down to the ground. You might grab the block and come up in a half moon. Can you push into that hand as if somebody else's hand were there, getting a little bit stronger on that top arm? And then make sure that your left leg isn't back behind you. Oh. Inhale. Exhale. And then step the left foot down. Relax your spine forward. Bend your knees. Roll everything all the way back up. I'm going all the way through on the other side. I'm going to turn around so that I'm not facing away from you because I find it very strange when I do that. So you've got your left leg forward. You're probably just facing the same way that you were. Let's take the right foot back, finding that lunge. Interlace your fingers, press the palms up. And feel your heart reaching all the way up towards those palms. Your thighs lifting up. Ears out of your shoulders. Take an inhale, get a little bit longer. So on your exhale, down into warrior two. Then taking that transition again, start to face forward. Take the back heel up. Inhale, get a little bit more spacious. Exhale, soften down into warrior two. Keeping the front leg aligned, moving upwards in the peaceful warrior, make an offering of your heart upwards. More breath in. Reaching forward, finding side angle. Left elbow down, right arm up and over your ear. Push into the right foot. Tuck the left hip towards the right foot. More exhale. Lifting up, straighten the front leg, peaceful triangle. Again, lifting the rib cage up so as long as possible through the spine to lift that heart up. Try to keep this length as you shift your hips back and reach forward, coming into triangles. Again, you might have a block under your hand here if you find that useful. If the shoulder is creeping forward, then you can bring the hand further forward and then open the shoulder up. Feel that palm pressing into that imaginary wall or hand or force field. Exhale. Look down. You're going to come up and stand on your left foot. Whoop, fall into the couch. Notice I brought my hand a lot further forward and walk a lot further forward. You want to lengthen out through the sole of the right foot. Open that right shoulder up to the hand, ears out of the shoulders. More advanced variations to look in the same direction as your heart in some of the fours, but the full expression is to look upwards towards your hand, which is really hard because it's probably moving around a little bit and it's hard to look at things that are moving and try to stay still. Yeah. And when you feel like you cut it out to your right, go ahead and forward fold, soften, relax your body, bend your knees, and start to roll it up. Good. And then we'll come into a wide-legged stance. Not as wide as those legs go. Turn all 10 of your toes forward. Take a big inhale and fold forward. Exhale. So the weight is in your feet. Maybe a little bit more weight in the pinky toe edges of your feet. Your hips are above your feet. Don't move those hips. Start to bring the hands out and forward. Maybe you're on fingertips. Maybe free crawling forward. Your hips are still exactly where they were, even when your hands were back, right? Don't worry about how far forward the hands go. They get as long as is reasonable in the body. Just working with what it is. One more exhale. Your hands in. You're gonna walk over towards, so go to your left leg first, just in case your block was still over there. So you're gonna turn the left toes over, come up onto the right toes. You'll leave your right hand down. You can put a block underneath your right hand, and then open your left arm. Push into the back foot, ears away from your back heel, ears away from your tailbone. More exhale. Down. Then you might grab your block and take it with you as you walk over towards the other side if you found it useful to use it. So we've got left heel up, left hand down, right arm reaches up. Calm in the body, soft in the belly, open in that top shoulder. And exhale. Start taking it down, walk it back out to that wide-legged fold. Once again, leave the hips right up above the feet, right in line with the feet. Walk the hands out and extend the spine forward, keeping the hips above your feet, right where they were. So you're not just diving into your hands right now. You pick the hands up. Just to test your balance. One more breath out. start walking the hands in. We're going to turn the heels and the toes out. I'm going to do a little old softball guide here. Press your hands into your inner thighs, the knees drop out, push into the pinky toe edges of your feet, and then maybe relax your shoulders down so the heart is more open. Big breath out. And now stand up. And then bring your feet back in. Wiggle, perhaps. And then come stand up towards the front of your space. Take a nice slow flow backwards towards downward facing dog. Start with your hands at your heart. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach those arms all the way up. Exhale, fold it down. Bend your knees as much as you need. Relax your back. Inhale, feel your heart lifting up, maybe your fingertips come to your shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, and lower them down. Push down into your hands. Inhale, open your chest. Keep the chest open. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Roll those collarbones a little bit more open. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, soften down. Pushing back to child's pose or pressing yourself upwards into downward facing dog. You're up on your hands here, push down strong from the armpits for the hands, relax your head, relax your heels. One more exhale. We'll all meet in child's pose. Lower your knees down, widen them out, untuck your toes and sit it. And you exhale, get really soft with them. Start to pull yourself back up onto your hands and knees. If you need that lots of place to pad up your knees, you thought that was a good idea. And then bring the right foot forward. Then lift your hands up, interlace your fingers, leave the index fingers pointing upwards. Pick up a little bit taller, inhale, exhale, side bend up and over towards the right. Inhale to the center, keep pushing into the front foot, smaller side bend to the left. Inhale to the center, exhaling to the right. Inhale to the center, exhale to the left. Oh, this is hard. Inhale, center, exhale, hands down. You're gonna take your right foot and you're gonna wiggle it over towards the left. And then you're gonna drop the knee down, coming into pigeon pose. Now my foot is down, I don't have this shin parallel with the front of knee space, but I do have my hips more or less lined up with the front of the space. I like to wiggle the left leg back a little bit more. If you want to take a block or your towel and stick them in the right hip, you can do it in this way, support yourself. Let's come down into forearms if that feels good to you. Further, if it feels good, support yourself wherever it feels good. Keep giving yourself permission to soften. And especially in these really big stretch places, it's like your body needs permission to soften. There's this resistance. Oh, I need to be turned on, I need to be fired up, or I need to be pushing into this. And it's no. There are many times when what we really more of that. And start to push yourself back up. You're going to roll over onto your right hip and then start turning around so you're facing towards your left leg, taking the right leg all the way over Hug onto the right thigh, right arm in nice and close. Lift the left toes, lift your heart, soften the belly as you twist. Relax and collarbones more open. Letting the belly soften back towards your spine. One round of breath. Easter twist, small counter twist over towards the left. Just roll yourself over in that direction. And then unwind this leg. Come back over onto your hands and knees. If you cat and cow in between, inhale, lift up with the heart and tailbone. Exhale, round your spine. Inhaling, cow pose, look up. Exhale, tuck the tail. Once more, inhale. Exhale. There's more neutral spine. Bringing your left foot forward, and then coming up into this lunge. Let's interlace the fingers except for the index fingers. Save your Charlie's Angels hands. Lifting upwards as you breathe in. Exhale, side bend over towards the left. Inhale to the center, small side bend over towards the right. This is the hard one. Drop your left foot down. Inhale, center, exhale, left. Inhale, center, exhale, right. Inhaling, center, and then hands coming down. And you're gonna wiggle your foot over towards the right. Relax the knee down. I have to tuck this foot back a little bit more. And then coming down onto your forearms. Lots of ways to prop yourself up, maybe just for contact, even if it's not really under your hip. That touch is so very, very powerful. It's like a little bit of forgiveness to give yourself. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect today. It was actually my really big aha moment when I first started practicing yoga. I was trying to get into the splits and I wasn't really getting it. And the teacher comes over and she's like, you know, it really doesn't have to be perfect every time. And I was like, well, shit, nobody has ever told me that in my entire life. Like in my early 20s, like, really? Huh? It doesn't have to be perfect. I like this yoga thing. Come back. Got 3 more breaths. Easy breath out. Start walking your hands back in. We're going to come over on that left hip. Keep turning over towards the right leg and then cross your left leg over. So I like to lift the right toes. It helps to keep this instigation in the spine to stay lifted. Hug your thigh, left arm behind you. Inhale up taller and then exhale, soften your belly. Access collarbones. Maybe even the muscles in your face could use some softening. Big exhale. Easter twist. Just a breath twisting over towards the right side, little counter twist. And then come back out to the center. We're going to roll back over and come into table pose. Working through 3 rounds of cat-cow on your own. Alabina. Exhale now. Back to a neutral spine here. We're going to move into cow face pose. So, you know how you have, stuff around. You bring under your hips. You're going to do that. Take the right leg behind the left leg, widen your feet out, and then bring your hips back. Maybe you put a block or your towel or what have you behind your hips. So you want to not be sitting on your heels. Stick from the side where you can see the spine staying long. But rather than just the spine staying long, get a little bit of arc. Soften your belly back. Hold on to your knees. If you've got arm business to take care of, you can do the arm business. You can start off by resting into the backbone, trusting your bone structure, your skeleton to support. if you decide to come forward, try not to hunch in. Maybe like gently lengthen forward. Sometimes hands coming down feels nicer if you've got your arm this, which you can do your arm this. I want to work with the hips today, so I'm leaning here. More breaths. Finish that third exhale. Maybe you soften a little bit. You lift yourself up. Unwind your legs. You can wrap them up the other way if you like, or come back up in a table pose. And then it's the other leg that goes behind. So I'm gonna go left leg behind, open my feet up, come back, and you've got just a little bit of rise to my hips with that, towel underneath. Knees are mostly stacked. Start by softening the back down. Ooh, that knee. You know what? It's just gonna be a block. I feel like this one better. Just a little bit more back there. Much better. Okay. So practicing softening the body back, trusting your skeleton to hold you instead of always moving this like anxious forward space. So some balance. Feels good to come forward at all. You can do that. Lengthening forward rather than rounding forward. There's a little rounding, but lengthening as much as you can. Big breath in. Soften as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale to soften. That. Now unwind the legs. And then you're going to come down into a seat. Now, for those of us who are not super forward folding or who are interested in having this little extra oomph, you're going to take your towel space and now you're going to sit up on it so it's like not all the way on it, but you're like halfway on it, like the back half of your butt is on it. And what that does is it just gives you a little bit easier of a pop upwards. Just like, boop. And then you'll keep the left leg out. Go ahead and tuck your right leg in to whatever degree is comfortable to you. I've already got this little oomph in the hips to be able to take my body forward over that left leg. You just come as far forward as is reasonable to you and think of softening forward. Yourself another 2 breaths. Start walking yourself back up. You're going to send the left arm over the left leg, reach the right arm up and over, finding some side bending here. Soften your low ribs and release the shoulder blade from your spine. Exhale, draw the belly in, inhale, right hand goes back about a good foot away from your hip, and let's roll upwards, stargazer, let the hips and the heart press up and forward. You're taking up a lot of space, strong with that bottom arm. Exhale, softening back down. Now switch to the other side, so take that leg forward and move, facing away from you. So we have the left leg bent. You're up just kind of halfway onto that towel if you want to. And then bringing your body forward over this leg. any tensions and concerns, soften all of it. Around. Lift yourself up. Slide the right hand down. Reach your left arm up and over. Lengthen through that back body. Release the shoulder from your spine. Ears out of shoulders. Breathing out. On up. Hand goes back about a foot away from the hip. And then the hips and the heart come up and out. Stargazer. Lift up, stretch out in all directions. And releasing. It's back down. So, even if you haven't already, this might be the point where you might want to be halfway up on that towel blanket that have you to come from here into a forward fold, and having any more of that pelvis rolling forward makes such a difference. Use that to soften forward. And checking in with points in your body that start to get tense as a response to this. We're going to come down onto our forearms. So scoop up a towel underneath your hips and then set it off to your side. You're going to come down to your forearms. A little bit of a heart opening shape. Push down into those forearms right under your shoulders so that your heart lifts up away from the floor. If it feels good to you, your head can go backwards towards your shoulders. Keep pushing down into the floor from the heart. Floating out, floating out, floating out, floating out. Upwards. Good job. Inhale. Exhale. Soften your heart down. Take your head up off your shoulders and all the way down onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then lifting your feet up, finding happy baby. To hold fingers around toes here. You might just hold onto your feet or your ankles. Any of that is good. Breath. Soften something as you exhale. Exhale, soft. Use your feet. Take them down. Feet a little bit wider than your hips. Take your arms up and over. Hold your elbows or reach your arms open into a Y shape. Flex your feet. Drop your knees over towards the right side. If it feels good, you can bring your right ankle onto your left knee. Press that thigh a little bit more open. If that doesn't feel good in your knee, just please bring your foot back down. It's not important. Pause and pressure, tension, unpleasantness. Just pressing the left thigh down towards the floor. Pressing the left thigh outwards and away from your hips. So we're opening up the front of the left. You can reach your elbows a little bit further away, softening the insides of your arms. Exhale. Unbutton the right foot if it was touching back to the center. You have to wiggle around in your pelvis a bit and then drop your knees over towards the left side. Keep the feet flexed. Maybe your left ankle moves up onto the top of the right thigh. Resting that thigh knee to thigh bone away from your pelvis, opening from the pelvis. Reaching your elbows a bit further away from you. Pull the breath out. Head angle, come back to the center. Turn and bring your knees back into your chest and pick yourself up. We'll walk up to a seat now. So you need to come to some space that goes either, I kind of like to sit with like hips up against the couch and put legs up, flopped on the couch, so you're inverted that way, or you come over towards the wall. So when you come real close to the wall, you want to get your hips up as close as possible. Lay back down, extending your feet up the wall, taking a little time in inversions. If there's any other inversions that you like to take in your practice, go there by all means, but it's going to be a nice way to soothe the body, soothe the nervous system. Just a couple of minutes. So fall into the floor. Eyebrows fall apart. Eyebrows fall down towards the back of your skull. Your jaw muscles and cheeks that are clenched. Relax the collarbones. Pull the fingers into your shoulders. Pressure your toes. If anything feels imbalanced, shift around a little bit from the pelvis to the shoulders. Give yourself that space. Just in a bit of a while, inversions, getting upside down, can be extremely important. Into any intensity, heat in the body and the brain to come into a place. Rooted, connected, supported. Take a little bit longer on your next inhale. A little bit longer than that on your next exhale. Inhale. See if you can take just a little bit more time to soften up the air out. Two more like that. Bend into your knees, pulling them in towards your chest, and then roll yourself over and gently press yourself up. Your space finding a seat with your legs extended out and wide. Start locking the body forward into a fold. For many of us, stopping here or having hands behind a lot more restful and soft in the body. So always take those modifications to make yourself that grace, not softness. Check in with any points of tension. Give yourself permission to release that tension. Exhale. Start to walk yourself back in. We're going to come into a seat. Now, you want to lay back against a wall if it's not comfortable for you to sit in lotus pose or cross elbows on the set. Give yourself that space. You're going to come to a place where it's not difficult to sit. Give yourself another. I would recommend sitting up on something. Got your towel, maybe a block, just because it helps to relax the hips, put the knees, rest down a little bit. So I often offer having palms facing up in this gesture of being able to receive, but outward energy can be very heat building, it can be very dense. So instead of having palms facing up, take your index finger and your thumb together, we have this grounding mudra, and you're going to place your palms down on your thighs. So we have a little bit more inward intention. Drawing into ourselves, softening into ourselves, lean down so that outward go sort of heat intensity. Do a little bit of pranayama, this Satali breath, where I call it frosted Cheerio breath. You make a tiny little O with your mouth, about the size of a straw. And then that's your little Cheerio. And then you can take your tongue and just barely stick it out through the bottom of that tiny little O, and that's the frosting. That's what makes things very frosty, so that the wetness of your tongue is when the air goes across it, it really starts to cool it. All the way through to this tiny little O, barely tongue sticking out, and from that little and out. As you do this, see if you can lengthen these breaths a little bit over time. These soft, easy exhales. Gently release, gently clear it out. Need space for something different. Something to be different. Let's have a fresh space to do a little bit better. Maybe one stay still. As always, another person. Relax your mouth, relax your breath. Make the transition back down onto the floor. Curl yourself into a little ball when you get there. Bring the knees into your chest. Rock and roll a bit, relax in the lower back. And open up your arms and take a nice easy twist over towards the right side. More breath out. And over to the other side. Relaxing your opposite shoulder. Soft shoulder, just fall into the floor here. More breath. Keeping back to the center. Bend your feet a bit, let the knees knock against each other. Take a hand up to your heart and hand up to your belly. Breath in your heartbeat. If there's anything else you need at the end of your practice, giving yourself that opportunity to go there, take that pose or shape or move. If you're feeling ready to rest, just like that. Pose, maybe go back to nice up and roll, watch. Just settle. awareness back to your breath. Move yourself over to one side, drawing inwards in this moment of gratitude for your practice. When you're ready, coming up to your own version of a comfortable seat. Hands drawing into your heart. Healing practice, releasing one all together. You got this. Coming down to the love, the light, the darkness. Everybody. Thank you all for being here. Have fabulous days.